Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Good Intentions with Lisa-Tien. That is me. Today is going to be another get ready with me, blah, 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 because my time management. I'm going to be putting my makeup on at the same time. Yeah. So I woke up today. I set an alarm per usual, right? Today is gym day. And I set an alarm for 5. And today's also fucking hair wash day because I have not washed my hair. It's been a week and she was getting a little dusty, crusty. Fucking. I had time to do it yesterday, but again, time management, don't know how. I think I just spent too much extra time at the gym. I don't think I had to come in until a little bit later. Of course, I hit snooze for an hour and a half. That's been like my biggest struggle for some reason. It's just get up. Just get up and start taking action and doing stuff. But I'll just get hitting snooze. And I did that today because when I'm sleeping, actually, I'm going to go put a little bit more moisturizer on because I cannot handle how dry my skin is. And I popped this pimple above my lip, even though you're not supposed to. And Dawn even said, don't mess with your pimples. But it was like big and ready. She was ready. But she popped, but like not all of it. And then I slept and then I woke up the next in the morning and I popped it again. So you know she's going scar. Love that for me. I will be right back. And we're back. My skin has been so out of control. I am trying to I am tracking my diet and like what I eat and stuff. But I'm also trying to just see like what the fuck is up with my skin issues. Anyway, yeah, so today, did I manifest this? I don't know, but okay, I woke up at 5:30 and actually just laid there for a little bit cuz I was like, okay, could I just like not go to the gym today? I'm like trying to count how many days it's been this week, how many rest days I've had, and if I should or could take today as a rest day. And I just decided I'm still going to go and do cardio. So I did. And then I stayed a little longer. Of course, anyway, I had a client that booked yesterday for color at 9 a.m. So that's why I set an alarm and, woke up, went to the gym. I'm getting ready for work. I'm sorry if this is really annoying. If I'm like hitting up on the camera or whatever. Yeah, I was like, I have to wash my hair. Like yesterday, I had to wash my hair, but I was like, you know what? We're just going to ride with it. Today, there was just absolutely no way because I did cardio today and I'm like, she needs to be washed. So even though I have been struggling for the last 2 weeks of getting out of the house at like 8:15, that's when I want to leave by the latest. It would be amazing if I can get my ass out of the house at like 8:10, but lately the last few weeks, maybe it's been a month, I don't even know, I always roll out of here at like 8:22, 8:25, and I still get to work a little early on time and with enough time for me to put my eyebrows on, but still like I would just like to not rush. But that's my whole fucking personality. ADHD is literally my whole personality. So anyway, I was like, I still have to fucking wash my hair today. It just is what it is. If I go into work with my hair wet, it just is what it is. And then our front desk girl texted me at like 8:20. I'm still upstairs. I think I'm dressed, but like I still have to make a coffee. And I had decided that I wasn't going to have time to make breakfast today. So that was fine for me. But anyway, she texted me around like 8:15, 8:20. And she said, hey, your first one, even though she booked last night, just called to cancel due to illness. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, kind of a sleigh, kind of would love the monies, but also kind of a sleigh because I was like, I was about to just walk in there with my hair dripping wet, barely on time. And then she was booked for like 2.5 hours. Then I have like a block for lunch and like a 30-minute gap or whatever. So I don't have to be at work until 1. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to redo my eyelashes and then I'm going to wax my legs. I just did that for the first time the other day because they've gotten to the length where I can actually wax them because I'm tired of, I don't really have a lot of body hair, slay Asian genetics, but I do have leg hair and it's not a lot. It's pretty sparse. It's like mostly on kind of like the shin or the front of the leg area. But since it's winter and we're not dating, we're not seeing anybody, I just have been lazy and I don't really want to shave my legs. So yeah, they've gotten to the length where I can wax them, but I still went ahead and waxed them anyway, even though I knew that I didn't have enough wax strips. So I just ordered some more and we'll do part 3 whenever the wax strips fucking get here. But like the wax strips that I do have are already cut skintily for my lip and my eyebrows. So, I don't know. It was just, I was like listening to this podcast episode of Lewis Howes' podcast. And I was like, you know what? I want to keep listening to it. So what can I do right now? And I just decided to redo my eyebrows, or excuse me, my eyelashes, and wax my legs for fun, literally. So I don't think it was the last episode, but the episode before that, whenever I was re-editing it, it was very clear that I had such like low energy. And it was, I don't know, right? I didn't know if it was because of my menstrual cycle. Like I'm on my period right now, and I think I've Googled the fucking phases, like luteal and follicular. I still cannot tell you which phase is what, when is ovulation, when is the blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. All I know is it was about 2 weeks before my period. I didn't know if it was a dopamine crash that I had or oxytocin crash or whatever from hooking up. Side piece. I did smoke. I bought the vapes that weekend, had 2 vapes, hit it. And then I went to my cousin's house because my dad was in town and we had the little like dinner get together or whatever. I did smoke Schwerd when I was there. So also that could have contributed as well to why I felt like a little more low. But it was like the weather, it was so freaking cold. And literally, I had to tell myself by the last day of the cold day, because right now we're in the 50s again, I had to tell myself, you need to just act like you like it. Because every time I walked outside to my car to heat up the car before I go to the gym, I'm just like, it's cold. It's cold. I feel so brittle. I don't like it. Blah, blah, blah. Like I had to just tell myself, just act like it's a cold plunge. And it hasn't been cold ever since. Like, okay, did I also manifest that or what? Did I, Lisa-Tien, change the weather with my high frequency manifestation skills or what? JK. But yeah, I am very thankful that it is not in the freaking 20s right now because that was rough. Like we're in Texas, yo. Ready for summer. But she can wait. She can wait. We're not going to rush things, okay? Because the bodies still need to get there. So anyway, I brought up how I guess it was a few weeks ago. Let's just say too, like my mood was a little more low energy. I was very like blah, thinking maybe I need to get back on Vyvanse a little bit during that time. Like I'm just trying to track my mood, what I'm eating, my cycle, all the things, just so I can like see where the ups and where the downs are. So anyway, I think it really wasn't until a few days ago where I am starting to feel like myself again. Thank God. We are so grateful. Where I'm like driving again and I'm meditating, and in my meditations I can actually sit there and like focus and really feel the sensation throughout my body and like feel the words that are being said, and when I'm listening to the podcast, being able to be present and feel the frequency that I'm vibrating at. It's not just, just like there, it's actually vibrating. And yesterday morning, I was driving to work and I was like, yes, like we're back. This is great. Guess what? One of my clients that day, and this was yesterday, I was washing her hair and we were talking about like, she lives in California. She's a photographer and she loves it in Cali. And I said, yeah, I would like to live near the beach one day. And she was like, oh, where do you think? And I'm like, if I had to choose somewhere in the States, maybe Florida, but also that's like a little scary for me. But I would love to live abroad in Europe. I think that would be so cool. And we're talking a little bit about that. And this is for months now, I've been saying that I'm pretty sure my next husband is going to be someone from Europe. He lives in Europe. He's a DJ and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, well, keep feeling that, because she was like, I believe in manifestation and law of attraction. And I was like, oh my God, how crazy is it that yesterday I declared she is back. We're back in this positive, upbeat, we're here, we're present. And that is the same day that I meet someone who is also on this same wavelength. She was so cool. I love talking to her. We followed each other on Instagram, so we're connected now. And she told me about one of her friends who had made a vision board and manifested the husband that she wanted, and down to the T of everything that she wanted. And then the podcast episode that I was listening to today, and probably even yesterday, I think it was just, well, it was the same person. I should have looked up her name. I forget. She's a neuroscientist, but today I was listening to her on Lewis House's podcast. And yesterday I was listening to her on Jay Shetty's podcast. But anyway, she talked about a vision board and blah, 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 and how she's manifested the career that she's wanted. She went into science and medicine, but decided that that's not really, something that she wanted to do. And thinking, she had the mindset of when one of her friends went to school for, something like that, something very like logical and academic based and stuff, decided, I'm going to quit this and I want to be, like an artist or something more creative. And her thinking to herself, oh, wow, that's so cool, but I could never do something like that. And now she is literally doing something like that. Like she quit whatever career that she was in and took a different direction. And she said her brother said the same thing. Like, that's very cool. I wish that is something that I could do, but I could never do that. And it's just literally all mindset. And I already mentioned that she's a neuroscientist, and they talk about the science behind manifesting, law of attraction, like it's fucking real, people. She also talked about religion and how you like can't disprove that those things didn't happen, but with like manifestation and vibrating at a frequency and stuff with your mindset, like you can prove it with this science. And this is just where I've lived in my thoughts, in my brain, with what I believe for a few years now, and it just makes sense to me and it's real, right? So when I speak about this, I don't know how anyone else takes it, because it probably is a little woo-woo. I'm sure whenever I first got into manifestation and stuff like that, like it was very woo-woo to me, but at the same time it made so much sense. And it's just like I am truly a completely different person because of it. Just my personality and how I feel about myself, how I view the world. Like back then, I used to be, very gossipy, negative, like talk shit, blah, 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 even if I tried not to. But, I would complain, I guess, is the negative thing that I would do. And my boss at my old salon was the one that got me into manifestation. She's also very like sparkly and stuff like that. And she introduced me to Manifestation Babe. And so then I started listening to her podcast, and just I think like the first 10 or 12 episodes is Each episode is about something that you can change or something that you can shift where you are vibrating at a higher frequency so you can attract the things that you want. And she talks about complaining and gossiping and just being conscious of what you think about and stuff like that. Just listening to her podcast, I already started, like, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Like, I get it. This is what I want to do and shift and change, and really starting to believe it. And then joining that manifestation course that I took, they delve in, and then listening to all these podcasts and stuff like that. Like, I try, like the other day, I really thought about it. Okay. So, like, with my ADHD, yeah, I can have some bloopers. I can have some blonde moments. I can get like randomly overwhelmed if you ask me a question and in my head, I'm like, oh my God, how do I answer that? Blah, 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 like that. I didn't perform well in school, especially once I got into college. If it's something that I'm not passionate about, I just don't give a fuck. Like, you just can't make me give a fuck about it. However, like I said the other day or whenever it was, I was thinking about myself and like how much I actually know about manifestation and law of attraction, and enough to like coach someone about it, enough to help someone, enough to help myself. Not just that, but like stuff about fitness, and kind of thinking to myself, like, I am a little educated on stuff like this. Like, and that was kind of a sleigh for me to think about and to realize, because even when it comes to hair, don't ask me how to teach hair. Like, don't ask me why I'm cutting it over here. Like, I can tell you, but I can't tell you in a way that is going to make sense or educate someone. Like, don't ask me about sciencey shit about, I can teach you the color wheel, I can do a perm, but don't ask me like the different types of perm, why you would go with one or and not the other one. Okay, good thing we don't do perms at the salon that I'm at now, but yeah, just stuff like that. I don't know. Like, in my head, I know, but like if you ask me, I'm going to draw a blank. But when it comes to law of attraction and manifestation and growth mindset, like, I am all about it. When it comes to narcissists, I'm just like, let me tell you what I know. So actually, in the break room yesterday, one of the girls was talking to me about her friend and her friend's husband. Okay, we got the lip on. Oh, I still got to do my eyebrows. I look so 90s right now with blush and no eyebrows. Or maybe that was just also like the early 2000s. Like, I don't think I started coloring in my eyebrows until like 2013, 2014 or some shit like that. Also, I'm sorry if it's annoying if I'm keep moving the microphone. Anyway, yeah, she was telling me about one of her best friend's husband and just giving me like little snippets, and just by the few words and two scenarios she gave me, I was like, he's giving narcissist. Of course, I'm slightly biased because of what I went through, but at the same time, after I went through that, I watched everything about Dr. Romani and educated myself on what narcissists look like and how they behave and their intention behind the things that they do and stuff like that. I don't want it to come off as like me being arrogant and me thinking that I know everything about narcissists. I absolutely don't. There's definitely a lot that I don't know, especially the line between a narcissist and a sociopath. I just go off of how I feel, and just based off of what she told me, I was like, it started off with a scenario between them wanting to hang out with somebody. And, with that, I was just like, yeah, don't take that part personally. But when she went on about, she kind of just shared a little more about their relationship and things that he won't let her do and stuff like that, I was like, she needs to get out of that relationship. And then we get into his childhood and how his parents are like, and I am like, I am scared for her. I don't know if all narcissists are abusive or at least physically, but yeah. Anyway, when I was talking to that client that I had that was like also into law of attraction and manifestation and stuff, I'm kind of just telling her how it's a vibe, like it's an energy, it's a feeling. Like I feel like I can sense other people's energies. I feel like just I don't know, like based off of some things that they might say or how they say something or how they view something, I can kind of tell. Maybe I think I've always been that way where I kind of like psychoanalyze people because I was so curious about myself and why I did the things that I did and why I was the way that I was and stuff like that. And so I low key kind of do that with other people as well. But I don't mean to do it, and I don't mean to do it in like a judgy way by any means. I do it in a way where I like try to understand them and why they and try to be like more compassionate, like if someone is a little standoffish or whatever, like I'm not going to immediately think, oh, she's a bitch, or oh, like what, like why didn't they talk that much, no, like that's just not who I am. I don't judge people. I'm learning that judging people isn't a negative thing because I was in the whole other direction where I don't want to judge people so much that I tolerated disrespect from my ex-husband because I was like, that's mean, I don't want to think that about him, but turns out you got played. Anyway, what is this episode even about? I'm just really excited if you can't tell. Just yeah, like energy vibes. Whenever that client was in my chair, we just got along so well. I thought it was so cool. I love meeting new people. I love connecting with people. Like that is my favorite part about doing hair. And sometimes I'm like, now that I'm where I am now, I definitely feel a little more passionate when it comes to hair. Like recently, I just got really into cutting, like actually enjoying it and liking it, even with men's cuts too, honestly. I still, of course, love color. But with hair, it's always been connecting with the client, like always, always, always. So whenever I just thought it was really funny synchronicities, like whenever I declared that morning that I am back on the path, we are here, we are so thankful, grateful to like be back because of course I don't like feeling low. Who does? Nobody does. And I'm not going to ignore those feelings too. I feel like maybe some people might hear what I'm saying or, perceive that I might be not feeling my feelings and just like avoiding them and pushing them down. But it's absolutely not that. I allow myself to feel whatever it is that I need to feel. And then I just decide that, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I move on from this? Because I don't want to live there. And I've mentioned this in the podcast, like, there was this other podcast that I was listening to. It was Jay Shetty, and her name was Taylor Hill, and she's a Victoria's Secret model. She is so cutie. Wow. Wow. So fucking beautiful. And of course, that's why I clicked on that video. And she kind of opened up about grief. Like she lost her dog. And the way that she was so connected to her dog and what she learned from it and going through it. And she also mentioned that she has always been like more emotional anyway, and then her dog was there for her during her miscarriage and stuff like that. Like I love that. I don't remember the purpose of me bringing this up, but I guess for her, she said it just really took her a while, and of course, people like want to be there for you whenever you are going through something difficult. But her putting up a boundary and deciding like I want to go through this alone. Like she kind of mentioned how she wasn't ready for people to be there for her, especially with the miscarriage, because at the time when she was going through it, people would say, "Oh, well, like 1 in 3 women," or well, I forget the statistics, but saying that it happens pretty often, and her feeling like I don't want to hear that right now. And I think that resonated with me because it's a little harder, I think, for me. Like, I never really know what to say to people whenever they're going through something other than try to, like, kind of like relate to how they're feeling. But I feel like I would be the person that says, like, well, this happens, to like a lot of people, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't even know, literally, don't know what I'm trying to say. But everyone goes through their own journey, is what I've learned, especially with my ex-husband, because I didn't know this about myself. My cousin told me, and a few other people had told me that I am the type of person that like wants to fix people. And I remember the first time somebody said that about me regarding to my ex, I was like, I don't feel that way. But I just wasn't aware. Like I was very naive of who I was and the whatever it was that I was doing. Of course I was trying to fix him. I was trying to love him so that he can feel love and heal, because that was me, right? When I was a kid or whatever, I felt how he felt, and I went through this process journey on my own, not necessarily on my own. I had support from like my friends and stuff, but most of I didn't go to therapy. I processed all of it and kind of learned that like this is just something that happens and it didn't happen to me. I am not a victim anymore, and that is not my life. Like I want to be excited about who I am and love who I am and be excited for the future. So yeah, in that relationship, learning that other people's emotions are not my responsibility, and you can't fix people. You can't. You can care about them, you can love them, but if they're affecting you, bringing you down, treating you with disrespect, and you have to set that boundary and remove yourself, because you can't chase someone, you can't pour more into a cup hoping that it's going to fill up someone else's cup while you're like draining your own. And I feel like I'm going on another fucking tangent right now. But I guess I was just very excited that I met that client. Law of attraction, manifestation. I feel like I'm really honing in and focusing on my goals fucking finally, because January, yeah, only ate out one time. Of course, I still went over my calories. I dropped my calories by 200 calories. So, we're going to fucking pop off with that, Didn't eat a ton. I mean, I ate yesterday, but I had a big snack and still had calories for like my dinner and stuff. But I kind of was like, you know what? Like, I'm full. Like, I don't need to eat. And so then I just drank a protein shake before bed just to get a little bit more protein. But I feel like, yes, meditating, listening to all this personal development really helps. It really helps me be so much more present. And I don't want to say I had a pregnancy scare. Like, let's not fucking be dramatic here. But whenever I hooked up with Side Piece, it was just like a few days after ovulation, which is fine, right? I'm not ovulating. However, I'm not super consistent with tracking my period. Like, I might forget to log my period. So then I'll kind of like count back, or I guesstimate like when it started, and it might be a day or two off. I don't know. So, of course, a little part of me was just like, oh shit, like, ooh, what if, And I had texted a few of my friends about it. Also, it was so fucking crazy because my friend, one of my best friends, May, she said that she had a dream of us dating and me telling her like he's the one, like this one's it. And then I shared my Delulu thoughts with Justin. I think I shared it with him first actually, because I was like, we hooked up, and I think it was the next day or the day after that where I'm like driving into work and I'm thinking about, okay, that was like really close to ovulation. What if I was actually ovulating? What if my period doesn't come and I'm pregnant? Like, I'm like, what will we do? Do I tell him? Do I not tell him? We're in Texas. And do we co-parent? Do we not co-parent? I'm like, and then I kind of like envision us kind of like dating and then like me moving in there. And then I was like, well, what if we lived together but we weren't dating? Like, would that be messy? And do I actually want to co-parent with him? Would he actually be a good dad? Do I love him? Like, what the fuck? And then these are literally just like all these delusional thoughts, right? Like, it just bounces all around like that. It's just what's in my head. And all I can do is just laugh about it. It's not serious. But then I was like, what if he doesn't want anything to do with the baby? Would I be down to do this on my own? Like, am I ready? Obviously, no one's ever really ready, right? You can plan for it. But me now in this state that I'm in, a part of me considered yes. So, and this is also something that is getting me really excited too when I think about it, because if you talked to me 6 months ago, from 6 months ago to about 10 years ago, if you talked to me about children, it was absolutely no, don't want kids, ew. Like, I love kids. I do. I think they're so cutie. They're so fun. I did really enjoy being a stepmom. I'm obsessed with my nephew. Like, I love the little babies and my little baby cousins and stuff. Like, cute, right? But responsibility, like, I don't even want a dog, you know? And it was, and I mentioned this before, it was whenever I was on a date with Sweet Baby Angel, and that was our first date, and of course ADHD, dopamine, and of course alcohol. But when I looked at him, because he was just a very nice, sweet, genuine, kind person, right? It's just vibes and energy. Like, I can sense that he is actually an amazing human. I just looked at his face because he has just a sweet, kind, gentle face, and I thought to myself, like, I would have his babies. So that's when it started, right? And the thought of just me wanting a kid is crazy, because if you know me, you know that I never wanted kids. And just the thought of being a mom and being pregnant, all of that stuff, didn't want to do it. But I realize, with really, truly, I am so grateful to have gone what I went through with my ex-husband, because it really made me reflect back on not just that relationship, but how I was as a person in general, even how I was in my relationship with my ex-boyfriend. Like, I thought that I was strong and independent and secure, and maybe I was to an extent. However, when it came to attachment styles, I was still very insecure. And I can't remember if I talked about this in the last episode, so if I'm repeating myself, sorry. I think I actually did talk about this. I was still very insecure, had a very insecure attachment style, and I have just learned so much in that relationship, and just reflecting back on who I was as a person in the last 10 years has just been absolutely insane. It's been such a beautiful journey though, because I feel like I just know myself so well. I'm sure there's still a lot that I'm going to, learn and continue to heal. However, the last 6 months was just like an expedited fucking healing self love journey. And it has been a beautiful journey. I have felt so much more compassion for myself and so much more understanding of myself. And being aware and conscious, like I talk about in every episode, is the key. If you are wanting to change, like, you have to be aware and conscious of yourself, of the choices that you're making, and where those decisions are, coming from. Like, the not necessarily the why, but like kind of, like not being able to sit still. Why am I wanting to vape? Why am I wanting to binge eat all of this food? Why am I blah, blah, blah? Like, just knowing that you're chasing a feeling, it's giving you some kind of comfort or validation or whatever it may be. And just knowing that makes it just a teeny bit easier to make a different choice, even if it's not comfortable, because that different choice is going to get you closer to where you want to be. And I just just texted in the group chat accountability check, because the first month of 2025 is almost over and done with. And sometimes you can get lost in the everyday things, in the same routine, that you might not even be aware of, like, how much time has actually passed and how little progress you've actually made, because every day you're doing, the same thing. You might do something different like one day and be like, slay, that's a win, but then that's it, and then you slowly kind of revert back to whatever it was that you were doing before. And next thing it's summertime, 6 months has passed, you haven't lost any weight, you're still eating the same and stuff like that. So just being conscious every single day, even if I am making a choice that I don't want to make, like this last weekend, I did eat over my calories. The weekend before that, I did buy a vape, 2 vapes. Even if I'm making that choice that isn't going to help me reach my goals, the fact that I am aware of it and conscious that I'm doing it, and knowing that that choice that I'm making is not going to help me achieve my goal, being aware, that light bulb will come up to where you're like, okay, I know I'm doing this. I know this is something I don't want to do. What do I do about it? How am I going to shift this? How do I change this? Just by not making the choice to not do it anymore, right? So with the vapes, why the fuck did I go buy a second vape within the same weekend? Oh, because I wanted to try another flavor, right? My excuse was I just needed to know what it tasted like. And if I don't get it that weekend, eventually at some point, even after I give this one away, at some point my mind is going to go back to that flavor and I'm going to fixate on it until I actually get what I want. And that's just what I told myself. I could have easily said, you know what, this is not going to help you towards your goals, but baby steps, right? And then buying that second vape, hitting it, walking up the stairs, out of breath, like feeling not great. And then me deciding just after those 2-3 days of like, I can't keep this. If I want to hit it when someone else has it, okay, that part is fine. I just personally, I can't have it. I cannot have it because I cannot be responsible with it at all. Like, yeah, we've already talked about this. But yeah, just being aware of what you're doing and really thinking about what you're doing. Don't make yourself feel bad about it. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel shame, because those are useless emotions. Feeling those emotions, it's going to make you want to do those things more unintentionally, like unconsciously, because you're feeling the shame and you're feeling the guilt. You are now going to need more comfort. So feeling those feelings only jeopardizes your growth, because you are going the next day, you're going to eat this, you're going to eat that, whatever, and then you're going to feel more shame and guilt, and it just spirals. So just being aware of it is enough. I feel like just being aware of the choice that you're making, knowing that it's not going to help you at all. It's like does not do anything positive, anything for you or your goals. Being aware of it, deciding, okay, what am I going to do differently? And I don't want to say be logical. Yeah, like just take the emotion out of it. I remember this was during a time when I was going to therapy, like 5 years ago, before I was married. I still lived in my own apartment. I really struggled with binge eating. Like, I think it definitely was a little ADHD, and maybe it was because I was so unaware of like what the fuck I was doing. I was hanging out with my ex. We weren't really dating yet. But I remember it was literally like a drug. Like I felt so controlled. I would some days, I would have my food made, but when I walk out of the salon and I smell the Chicken Express in the air or whatever fast food, my mind is now like on it. And I can't shake it. If I could probably shake it like for a day, but then I still continue to think about it, and then I will go get it eventually at some point. Or I will drive home past however many gas stations, and me having to tell myself like don't stop and get something. Like just keep going, go home, go home. At that time in my life, I was absolutely addicted to the Doritos Flaming Cool Ranch. So spicy Cool Ranch Doritos, they were like fucking crack to me. And I couldn't just get the Doritos. I also had to have a gummy bear of some sort and a chocolate bar of some sort. Most of the time it was like a Snickers. And then of course I had to have a soda with my chips. And then I'll drink the soda when I eat the gummy bears. And then it would start out fine. Like I would be like, okay, I'm just going to eat half of it and it's fine, right? But then you get addicted to it. And then the next day it's on my mind and I want to get it, and I might talk myself out of it, I might not. And whenever I do get it, instead of eating just half of everything that time, I'll eat the whole thing in like one sitting. Or I might like have the intention to just eat half of it, but then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to eat it. Like, and then the cycle will continue. And then I would start to feel like shit about myself. Like I would start to feel really guilty and a lot of shame. Like, why am I doing this? Why can't I stop doing this? And I remember there was one time, okay, I didn't have a lot of trash. If I had trash in the trash can, it was probably just like paper. Nothing like that was rotting, like no food, blah, 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 whatever. I'm just like setting this up. There's one time I said, I'm not going to eat the rest of this. The chips, the gummy bears, whatever. I threw it in the trash. But I didn't throw it deep down in the trash. I set it just very cleanly on top, like just still above everything. And if it was an empty trash bag, I don't know. But yeah, the next day, I took it out of the trash and I ate it. Like sometimes when I think about that moment, I just like laugh, because like that's just so crazy. But sometimes, or just in this moment, I'm like, oh my God, like that is a problem. Like legit, that is a problem. Whenever I gave away the 2 vapes, I told myself, if I go buy another one within this week, that's a fucking problem. And I didn't, and I haven't. I did whenever I got my nails done. Fucking Carlos was there, and he's one of the ones that I gave the vape to, and I didn't even think about it, but he was just joking around. He's like, oh, I still have your vape. And yeah, I hit it whenever I was there. But like, I just didn't feel good. So for me, it's really just having to be aware and conscious that this thing does not make you feel good. So then just don't do it. You know? My friend Justin and I are going to go see Loud Luxury on Saturday, and it's going to be lit. And I'm really considering going and just not drinking. Like, I don't really want to drink at all anyway, but I have some goodies that I considered taking, but I don't know. I feel like I've been like what I'm wanting, or what the idea that I'm drawn to is just going like sober and not doing anything. So we're going to do it. I was going to say, we'll see. No, we're going to do it because I don't want to feel like crap on Sunday. I don't want to waste a whole day the next day. Maybe if we want to get together Sunday and go to brunch, I might have a Bloody Mary. However, out there, Dallas, yeah. But we'll see. Like, this whole episode was just me being extra ADHD. I think I'm just very excited that I'm like back to normal and the sun's out. Everything's like beautiful. And I was really excited that I met that client yesterday. I'm excited for the future. Oh, yeah, for the future. So when I texted the group chat, I did it. So then one of my other best friends also had a dream that I had kids. She said, "Why did I just have a dream about you having twin boys and a girl?" And I was so obsessed with them. And at that time, I was still waiting for my period, so I didn't want to say anything. I was just like, ew, like, no, no, not right now. But I think I was scrolling on Instagram watching reels, and this girl's video popped up about her husband's reaction to her spray tan, and he was such a cutie and she was a cutie, and I went on her Instagram page and they have 2 kids and they're so adorable. Like, they're just a cute little family. Of course it's social media and I don't know these people, but like I just remember in that moment I just felt like I am so excited to have this, which is so fucking crazy because like I thought I was gonna be like single for the rest of my life. Even before I got married, I had always said that, like if I don't date or find anyone else, I'm fine, because I got to experience a really good love with my ex-boyfriend, and not a lot of people get to experience that. However, I had an insecure attachment style in that relationship. So, yes, 100%, I would absolutely love to experience just a loving, pure, supportive love where you feel safe to communicate and you're able to work through things. And yeah, you build a life together and you start a family, and everything's just like fucking amazing. And they're also into law of attraction and manifestation and DJs and loves fitness and has a European accent. Like, we're manifesting, okay? I think that was really the only thing that I wanted to talk about, was just me being excited and being just that much more sure of manifesting and law of attraction and how real it is, and the importance of working on yourself, growth, how crazy effective having a vision board also is. We gonna slay it. We're gonna slay it. Like, that was just proof for me. For me, I felt like that was proof because, again, for the 3rd or 4th time I'm saying this, that morning on my way to work, I declared, we are back. Yes, we are back in vibration. We're at this frequency. And then one of my clients is also into law of attraction and manifestation. And she's talking about, she didn't necessarily talk about stuff that she manifested, but she talked about this friend that made a vision board and she manifested this. And then the podcast that I'm listening to, she talked about how she manifested the love of her life with the vision board. Oh, I didn't even get into that part. So she mostly just talked about how she manifested her career and stuff like that, and she never really wanted to try to manifest love. Like, maybe she said the first time she attempted to, she put like a heart in the corner of her vision board, but it was more so for like work or personal stuff. And then another year goes by and she finally like was like, you know what, no, this is for love and relationship and blah, blah, blah. And I think like that year she met her husband and they got engaged within the year and then got married like that next year. And yeah. But again, my goal right now is just to be like my highest version of myself, undoubtedly. And I'm able to say no to the things that I don't want, like vaping, drinking alcohol. Eventually, the drinking alcohol is going to take a little time for me. But the vaping, working out, hitting my macros, losing the weight that I want to, getting the physique that I'm envisioning and imagining, like finally fucking doing it instead of every year saying, this year I'm going to get swole. And then I get caught up in my regular old fucking habits. And then I don't. And then I don't. And then another year goes by. And then another year goes by. Like it was the most fit that I was in 2023. Granted, we went through a lot of shit and that's fine. We're compassionate to ourselves and kind to ourselves about it, but it's 2025. It's a brand new year. I'm a brand new person and I'm ready to fucking be in charge and live the life that I want and be who I was meant to be. And I'm going to wrap it up right there. We're just on tangents today. I got to go to work now. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.